It is NewMutator, and I'm with Cruniac, aka Chohan, aka Vicky. Any other names that you use?
Oh god, I could start and go on, but I don't think I'd finish in time for the video to end, so I guess we'll just leave it at those three.
Okay. I am kind of curious though. Like, what prompts you to use so many pseudonyms?
Well, basically, way back, I guess it would have been like Plymouth, like it was either end of Bungie or like the Plymouth era. Me and two of my other friends that were World War II, we basically made a clan, and it was the whole name was just making fun of the other three top World War II orders at the time, and we'd always use fake names and play on names for other people. So after then, about like 8-9 years ago, it just kind of became like a habit just to use other people's names or mess around and use play on words of other people's names.
All right. So ever since then, it's kind of been an ingrained habit, I suppose.
Pretty much, yeah, I guess you could say, in a way.
All right. Okay, so this is we're actually we're doing a dual cast here. This is game number 5 in the matchup in which Cruniac actually played. We see him here. He is Chohan, Giant Killer General, captaining for the Southern Parkians. They're going to be starting out in the north. Like I said, Chohan also present. Homer. We've established that Ross the Boss Ray is actually Homer. Eric Hartmanez is actually Eastwind. Chef is actually Paris. Genghis Khan and Craig, whose identity I'm not really sure of. I only know what Cruniac has told me.
Mr. Fatty McFatterson.
So I have no idea who that could be. Opposite them, the blue team is the what's the Tcox merger between the Time Wizards and the Thundercocks. Although at this point I think there's only one player from Thundercocks on this squad. It is Flatline, who agreed to change his name to Bunnyline for this match. Headhunter captaining for them. Stone Cold, Scratch, MP Phil, Bunny, Father Xmas, and of course Flatline also in the game.
One thing I definitely want to throw out about this particular map is F you Grim for picking this map, because it is god freaking awful.
What is Flag Rally? And it is what isn't this is this Clash?
No, Cracks.
This is Cracks? And you don't, so you're not a huge fan of what's the
Cracks
full name?
On the Cloud Spine.
Cracks on the Cloud Spine. So you're not a fan of this this particular map. This isn't a third-party map. This is a standard map.
This is just a Bungie-made map.
So how come you say this map is awful?
I've always just felt like it's very very slow-paced, very camper-friendly. Like if you notice the big walls, and people basically just sit on ledges and sit on walls and just camp all game long. It doesn't leave much to the excitement action aspect of the game.
I see. So you is that because it's a light map and the units tend to move a little bit more slowly, and it is kind of a large map.
That probably
also
is part of it. Yeah, I mean, obviously light units. I mean, they move a lot slower. It's harder to take advantage of things from that aspect because they move so slow. Whereas dark units, you can get places and close the gaps a lot quicker.
Yeah, and I guess archers posted up on these walls would be pretty inhibitive toward to a team trying to rush in.
So yeah, especially with dwarves.
Archers
too,
and dwarves.
Put them on the walls and they can pick stuff off from 2-3 times the normal distance.
But it doesn't look like, interestingly enough, the Tcox team not opting to defend those flags, those inner flags there. And it seems as if Southern Parkians not really doing that either.
Yeah, we basically had just a 4-tag strategy, just to get 4 tags before them and then have everybody go middle and just branch off from there. So when we saw them having, normally the teams will always have somebody middle, so we were a little shocked to see them with 0 mid whatsoever.
Right, because most of their force is on flag 5. It looks like they're going to be possibly defending there. I'm not really sure what they have in mind. Also flag 6 as well. No, I think they're not defending. I think they might actually be moving through, just tagging it with their entire you know, maybe half of their force.
If you see in middle too, trailing far behind me, Eastwind's dwarf. Seems like I don't know, he's got that, like I mentioned in game, he kind of has it in Neverland, I don't know. Guy's kind of trailing behind, those little fat legs.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess he may have... Well, to be fair, pretty much everything is faster than a dwarf. So maybe he is in last place in the marathon, but once he arrives...
he brings the pain.
That's right. Do you remember anything in particular from this game here?
Nothing too much. I know Stone Cold, he mentioned like in chat, he'd gone AFK for like 2 of the minutes in the middle of the game. So I mean that kind of hurt them from the start. I believe he went AFK at the beginning of the game, so it kind of put him a little disadvantage there. But other than that, I mean there wasn't too much going on. I mean they camped on the outer flags. Like I think it's 5 and 4. They were basically just posted up there, not really in a position to move too much.
Yeah, it looks like you had a little skirmish there with Scratch, and you came out the worse for wear. 2 of your archers pretty close to being pretty close to being dead.
Here you gotta make sure you keep an eye on me, because this is how you. This is me being absolutely confused here. I'm not even. There's just nothing going on here. You'll see. I'll run towards middle and go back, and then run towards middle again, just in a world of my own.
So are you, at this point, are you just trying to figure out what strategy you're going to
At this
employ?
point, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm basically just like, series is already over. I don't know what they're doing. Like, they're just spread out. So I'm just gonna keep running back and forth here.
It looks like Giant Killer General and Eric Carmenez, aka Eastwind, going to engage Father Xmas here.
Yeah, they run him down pretty well on the side.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Father Xmas doesn't even have a dwarf to help him out, and he has a lot of archers, but that's not going to help him in this situation.
As you can see, our dwarf is trying to close the gap as fast as possible.
If he's able to pick off that dwarf, that may help him. There he does a little bit of damage, but I guess not a lot of pus on this map.
I believe I think you can get 4 max to begin with, and we had a 0 pus for our team.
So that dwarf does get off a couple of shots there. So how come you opted not to get pus on this map?
Basically, with them being, the smaller pathways, and especially with middle being on a bigger hill, it's hard to pus downhill, and a lot of it will bounce downhill to begin with, and with so many narrow passageways and so many narrow hallways, it's very easy to put like 1 or 2 melee in front of your vulnerable units and have them block it. It's not nearly as strong on this map compared to the more open wide ones.
Yeah, I wouldn't have actually thought of that. So that's pretty insightful there. I think a lot of people watching these videos could benefit from just having that insight also. So that force does get pretty much cleaned up, and the other main engagement here is going to be on flag 6.
I don't know if Headhunter just got tired of playing there, or if he just he lagged out, or what it was.
I did notice him drop, yeah. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing when I saw that, if he had dropped or what was going on there. And MP Phil just can't believe that he is out of the Myth World Cup.
He is devastated.
So I guess the last
I'm
remaining...
mentioning in chat as well that I was very let down about this map pick. That Grim should be publicly shamed and stoned.
I guess Scratch, Stone Cold. Well, I don't know. I guess all these units being redistributed here. No, not being redistributed. Scratch has the archers. Stone Cold with the dwarf. MP Phil and Father Xmas. Bunny even a couple of Stygian Knights there for him. And when I casted with Punk User, the topic came up of how do you pronounce how do you pronounce some of the names for these units? Do you call them Stygian Knights, or how do
I
you pronounce
normally
that?
always say Stygian Knights. I don't know if that is
Stygian
the
Knights.
appropriate one, or...
So I guess there's, yeah, I don't know either. I guess there's just as many ways to pronounce them as there are people to pronounce those names.
I believe I do a nice job of killing a couple Craig's melee coming up here in a second towards the end of the flag. I believe I have a nice fire arrow that ignites and kills them. It amused me, to say the least.
Stone Cold is trying to save that dwarf. He is able to take out a dwarf, but loses his own in that same process. And Craig is going to engage Scratch here to take the game. Oh, it only took out one warrior, actually. Those satchels on the
a
flag.
moral victory, to say the least.
Captured.
And game number 5, I think that was pretty, you know, I want to say that the Tcox really didn't pose much of a threat to the Southern Parthians in pretty much any of these games, excepting the beginning of game number 1, it seems, where the Southern Parthians were kind of reacting to that a trade or a strategy that they had not anticipated. But other than that, pretty much all of these games were pretty easily won. And I'm sure that that you would agree with that as well.
Yeah, I would definitely say. I mean, the first game, they definitely put up a fight. I mean, the percents. I mean, I don't think we killed one of their units until like 6 minutes into the game. I mean, they put up a good stand in that game, and then after game 1, it just kind of seemed like everything kind of went downhill really quick for them.
I would be, I don't know, I would agree with that. I think after that loss there, they pretty much ran out of steam for whatever reason. That we saw some infighting as well, starting in game number 3, and you know, and then I guess they didn't even know what happened. MP Phil saying, "Oh no, did we actually get eliminated?" That, you know, just that thought coming to him just then, you know, and not earlier in the tournament or earlier in the match. So I don't know, maybe they were playing in a daze or something.
He
like
is from
that.
Europe, though, so I mean, we gotta cut him a break on that one.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know exactly where he was from. I'd suspected he may have been from, you know, the UK or something, but I don't really know. Maybe he can post a comment and clear that up for us one way or another. But yeah, I'm gonna look at some of these numbers here. For the Thundercox Time Wizards merger, the Tcox, they didn't do nearly as well as I thought they might have. But you know, having said that, they didn't. I mean, I guess it could always be worse. They could have collapsed even harder than they had. Father Xmas, 38 damage, 7 kills, 11 losses, is going to be the man or the player with the kind of doing the most damage there. Actually, no, Scratch with the most damage, 40 damage for him, but Father Xmas with the most kills. Once again, though, nobody netting positive ratios for them. And Southern Parthians, it looks like a Giant Killer General, 21 kills, 88 damage is going to be the highest for that team, for the Southern Parthians. Craig also 76 damage, doing fairly well. And doesn't look like you did very well at all that game.
I think I spent most of this game in Neverland, just wandering around in middle.
Yeah, you did mention that you were kind of confused at one point as to where you should go. Does that happen very often to you, or are you pretty? Do you pretty much always know exactly what needs to be done in any given moment?
Yeah, for the most part, I would say a lot of it has to do with I guess I wouldn't say I play based off emotions, but I guess you could say my care factor is based on, you know, how important the game is. Like when it's the games that count, and you know, tournament games that are actually mattering. Still, I find myself playing 10 times better, and when it gets to the point where, you know, we're either eliminated or we have some other team already guaranteed, you know, beat. I know teams still play the games, but I've always been, you know, a competitive person. I don't see the point, you know, of playing the last 2 games when we, you know, already have them eliminated. So I guess I kind of take the foot off the pedal.
Interesting. And so your team played 2 matches this week, the double elimination round 4. So how did you see this particular match? Were you just like, yeah, it's pretty much just the precursor to the next match? Like, did the thought ever enter into your mind that you possibly could lose this match?
I never thought we'd lose the match. I thought in the middle of game one, towards the end of game one, I thought it was going to be a closer series. Like I didn't actually think we'd lose any games, but I thought, a lot of the games might be decided within 10, 15%. I wasn't expecting a lot of them to be decided, by 30, 40, 50% like games 2 through 5 were.
Okay, and so what about the next match that was coming up for you at this time when you played this one? I guess that was going to be against the Silent Sentinels, if I'm not
Correct. Yeah,
mistaken.
we played them yesterday.
And so after you played this match, were you, or even before, were you thinking, yeah, this is just going to be kind of the warm up for that match?
Yeah, we were pretty confident going into the next match that we would win the next round as well. And it was nice to have this match as well on a Friday though, because we could go through all of our strategies, make sure everything played well, and obviously by winning 40-50%, even though the teams we were playing against, we still decided obviously they worked well.
All right, very cool. Well, I haven't actually casted that match yet, but hopefully I'll have that for you pretty soon in the future. I do want to thank Mr. Cruniac for joining me in helping me cast this match, these games here, and hopefully you enjoyed them, and hopefully my casting didn't suffer because of I was pretty much focused on asking you a lot of questions and wasn't really following the action for a lot of these games. But hopefully that doesn't matter too much to too many people, and hopefully people will enjoy these watching these videos, and hopefully you enjoyed being here as well.
I definitely had a lot of fun.
And so that's going to be it. NewMutator here, and with Cruniac, and we're going to be signing out. You have been watching the Myth World Cup 2012, and we'll see you in next match.